An ex-neo-Nazi and creator of AI slop account Crew-Kern Gazette, Joshua Bonehill Payne was selected as a Tory candidate for Somerset Council. After backlash, he withdrew. But Tory leader Kemi Badenoch still defended his selection, claiming her party believed in second chances. Joshua Bonehill Payne was convicted of racially harassing Jewish former Labour MP Luciana Berger in 2016, while already serving a separate jail sentence for sharing anti-Semitic posts. But Bonehill Payne said he had now withdrawn his candidacy and had been offered a position as an anti-extremism advisor to the party. In a social media post, he said the position with the Conservative Party's Culture and Integration Commission would focus on advising on how to prevent young men from being radicalised. Bonehill Payne spent 3 years in prison after he was jailed in 2015 for posting anti-Semitic material ahead of a planned neo-Nazi rally. He was convicted of racially harassing Berger the following year. Here is an example of that AI slop.
Spencer has the ball, but she's going in the wrong direction. Polanski takes the ball from Spencer, but still heading in the wrong direction. It's an own goal for the Greens! Police have arrived, something's going on. Two of the Green team's players have been arrested for anti-Semitism. Oh, that was an illegal move by Polanski. A red card for the red communist.
Racist! I'm very sorry, lad, I was wrong.
Referee has let Polanski off the hook! Spencer has the ball. He fell right over, didn't he, just? Oh, Polanski kicked himself in an accident. What a shame.
I have no words. Interestingly, this is what the Jewish Chronicle had to say. Kemi Badenoch made a serious misjudgment, but she remains one of British Jews' strongest allies. Curtis, can a neo-Nazi really class themselves as reformed if they've only slightly backpedaled to the Tories?
Yeah, I know. I mean, usually when you have like reformed people from radicalized areas of society, like Nazis, right? Usually you sort of go full on anti-racist, right? And you have more radical politics and you read a lot. The question is, how reformed are you when you're like, okay, I'm no longer extreme, but I'm still a Conservative Party member, which happily throws immigrants under the bus. But I do think it's a good thing that you have reformed people. Like, would I rather your typical Tory or a neo-Nazi? Well, I'd rather your typical Tory. So, I think it's a good thing. And I also, look, I have no issue. I think people maybe disagree that in the future we can bring people in who have been down a bad road. But I think if you're going to bring someone in, you have to show more than just, I'm sorry. I would want to see a lot more work before bringing someone into the political realm, into a political party. But I find it so funny how like the centrists and the client journalists are like, Kemi Badenoch hasn't put a foot wrong. She's amazing. I'm like, are you sure about that? I mean, she hasn't disavowed him, by the way. She was just like, we believe in second chances. And that's fine. Again, as a society, we should believe in second chances. But neo-Nazis, I mean, you have to go a long way before you give a neo-Nazi a second chance, in my view. Absolutely not surprised in the Jewish Chronicle, though. It feels like we're being gaslit so much. I mean, where was the EHRC investigation into anti-Semitism, the Conservative Party? Where is the calls for Kemi Badenoch, apologizing for anti-Semitism? The Jewish Chronicle, because it's such a hack, such a right-wing Zionist shit stain of a rag, who don't care about Jewish people, they just care about Israel. Imagine if this was... we don't even need to imagine it. We know what happened with Jeremy Corbyn. We know what they've talked, what they said in terms of the Greens. An ex-neo-Nazi being in Labour, being the Green Party, they wouldn't live that down. And that's the thing, right? Under Corbyn's, Labour leadership, there were no ex-neo-Nazis in the Labour Party, were there? There were people who said some things and some people took it the wrong way, but most of it was just criticisms of Israel. And you literally had the media act like there were neo-Nazis in the party. But an actual ex-neo-Nazi joined the Tory party, the JC's like, oh no, she's a You know, she's a wonderful advocate for Jewish people. Of course, what that means is she's not an advocate for Jewish people. They just know that Kemi Badenoch is insanely pro-Israel. That's their only litmus test, right? They don't give a fuck if you're, you know, supportive of Jewish people or not. And, you know, the Jewish Chronicle and the Zionists have lost their minds so much that they've even attacked Andy Burnham. We covered this on the show a couple of weeks ago. Andy Burnham, who's littered his top team with supporters of LFI or people who are, you know, the chairman, ex-chairman of LFI, and he was getting attacked from the Jewish Chronicle saying that he's throwing Jews under the bus because he once spoke to Gary Lineker, who correctly called the Gaza genocide a genocide, and because Burnham apologized for Labour's Gaza policy, which, by the way, he still hasn't called it a genocide. He still hasn't announced, you know, a weapons embargo on Israel. What he's doing is very, very weak. The Jewish Chronicle went after him. But an ex-neo-Nazi, right, who attacked Luciana Berger, Jewish MP, and by the way, she was very much in the middle of the fake anti-Semitism scandal under Jeremy Corbyn. She was very part of that. She was very outspoken against Jeremy Corbyn there. But you actually have like a neo-Nazi, you know, breaking the law, and the Jewish Chronicle do not seem to give a shit.
I do think that is absolutely wild that they have made that statement saying that she's still, you know, she's still an advocate for anti-Semitism and for the Jewish people, etc. It's like, but that guy was literally in prison for anti-Semitic comments that he made. Like, that's how could she support somebody like that? I really don't understand the
And I would
thought
like to
process of
see as
even putting him
well.
forward.
I guarantee, if this was another political party, if this was Labour or the Greens, she wouldn't say, well, you know, I believe in second chances. She absolutely would not. She'd be screaming to the hills. She'd be saying that Hamas has infiltrated the Greens. They have an anti-Semitism problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what she would be doing. But of course, it's on her. She isn't. But again, I feel less strongly about whether people can be reformed or not. And again, I think it's good to believe in second chances. And I'm more furious at the media, the disgraceful media we have in this country, and the way in which we selectively get outraged at certain things. And obviously the litmus test for the mainstream media, again, is Zionism. And yeah, I mean, like, we don't need to go through the things that we have said on this show. We've covered it for so damn long. And we're in a position now where, you know, Zach Plansky, he himself is Jewish, is being smeared as, you know, someone who's allowed anti-Semitism to thrive in the Green Party. In terms of the slop content, though, and this is the thing where Kemi was actually right. I mean, she was like, I don't like the AI slop stuff. Okay, critical support for her. I fucking hate generative AI. This stuff is just embarrassing. Right, and that bit where it's like, oh, Zach Plansky's hurt himself. The foot didn't even touch his face because, like, again, it's just shitty AI.
But AI always makes stupid mistakes like that, and obviously in the commentary, like, so many words were mispronounced.
Zach Plinsky.
Yeah, I mean, not that I can say an awful lot because I feel like I've literally fluffed every line that I've said so far tonight. But
It's hot. Tonight.
It really is just cringe, and it's like annoying that it makes me laugh, but like I'm laughing because it's so bad. Do you know what I mean? I'm not laughing because
yeah, absolutely.
I actually think it's funny. I'm just like, this is actually cringe. Someone's taken time to write that set of instructions to their AI thing. I've never used like ChatGPT or anything like that because I don't actually know like what goes into setting stuff like that up. But it's just and it's just like that, you know, linking back to that previous story. How much water and energy has that wasted to make that awful shit for literally no reason? And I'm sure the account is just littered with other.
I mean, I went through the account. I saw some of the videos. I mean, that one made me laugh about the Green Party, but it's you know, it's very salient to talk about AI in a, you know, among the climate crisis. And as you were saying, it's good to link it back to data centers. Like, how much water did that use? Because that's the thing. It's not even like using the water. It's using the water to cool down the data center because it gets so hot. Mm-hmm. What a waste. What an unbelievable waste of resources that people need to produce this utter shite. Now, I'm not a Luddite, you know, but I just have this burning hatred for AI, generative AI. Look, I've used ChatGPT. I've scoped it out to see what it does.
I
right?
think there are. I've had this discussion with a few people. I don't know if we've had this discussion on the show before or not, but I think there are some things that AI can do or support with that I think are helpful. Um, uh, Sometimes, like when AI tries to like summarize an email for you, it's like I can read that email, thanks. Like I don't need you to summarize it. I can read it myself. But sometimes it is helpful for grammar checks, for if you're not particularly confident with grammar, spelling, putting together an email or a letter or whatever, and lots of other like little things like that. Even sometimes with like if you needed to edit an image and it was just a slight little edit, and kind of in my mind I'm like, well, if I knew how to use Photoshop better, I could do that myself, but I actually don't know how to do that. So if ChatGPT can do it, like, okay, fine. But again, like I don't see the point in like editing a photo of what your dog would look like as a human being, like and all these stupid trends.
Have you seen the chiropractors, but they're like throwing old grannies and slamming them through the floor? It's just like, this is so fucking stupid.
And then there was like that video of Stephen Hawking like doing on like a skateboarding, like
it's such slop,
but it's really like stupid. And then it frustrates me because every now and again you do watch something and you go, oh my god, like that's amazing, and then you realize that actually it's AI. Like if I find out that video of that polar bear cub with the cone on,
I'm pretty sure that's
annoying
AI.
its mum is AI, I will literally take to the streets and I will riot. And I want people to join me because that video has brought
you're
so much joy.
You're assuming that our audience know which video you're talking about, but
I hope some of the audience is as chronically online as I am. But
there was okay. So yesterday or today, I watched a video. It was of a baby, and you can usually look at like signs of something. There's little tails, overly contrasty, too smooth. But this particular one was so realistic, but I was like, actually, is it? And I went through the count and the rest of the videos, and it was just AI stuff. And it gets to the point that even us as millennials, who are very, very competent when it comes to technology, that we should spot these things. It's getting harder. It really shits me up. Now, in terms of like AI generally, even ChatGPT and LLMs have hallucinations. Like that's why I wanted to test it out to see what it's all about. And sometimes it literally makes up quotes and it makes up statistics. And it's like, this is really dangerous as well. Like you have you go through ChatGPT to check something. You then have to check it with a source, because if you don't, there's no guarantee it's correct. So, I mean, like people know my view. If I could end AI today, I fucking would. But we can't. So the question then becomes, in a more serious sort of conversation on AI, right? You can't stop the direction of travel when it comes to technology. You can't. I would love it if people turn around and said, let's just fucking end AI. It's not going to happen. Okay, technology arises, and that is just the direction of travel. So what do we do? What do we do about the crisis, I think, of AI? I will call it a crisis. And it's about ownership. Again, I made this point before, okay? If AI is in the hands of the capitalist class, this is the sort of shit we're going to get. Slop, or using AI to surveil on us, like Palantir, for example, using AI to just assist the IOF. And, all sorts of dystopian things. But if we had a collective ownership, or had collective ownership of these sorts of technology, we can collectively decide what we should do with it, and better outcomes will happen. If there are, good reasons for AI, and there are people out there who say there's AI is very useful, we can make the decision to do that. But because it's in the hands of the capitalist class, they're going to do it to make us poorer. We're losing our jobs to AI, for example. And also, look, AI is a bubble. I think AI is going to burst, and I think it's going to be a bigger burst than the 2008 financial crisis. The reason why it's a bubble is because it doesn't actually provide any social utility, and people don't want it. That's the main thing to understand about AI, that I don't think it can sustain itself, is that people don't want it. Therefore, what do the tech bros do? Well, the tech bros have to hype up AI to say how amazing it is to bring in investors. So investors come in, pile their money in, right? And it's not even that profitable. I mean, lots of AI companies and tech bros rely on government subsidies, okay, it's not that profitable. So when you have these these three things, it's not overly profitable. It's relying on taxpayers' money. They have to inflate its importance so investors come in. And the final crucial one is the fact that people do not want it. That means it's going to be a huge burst. It's going to be massive. People say it's going to be the dot-com crash,
I hope so.
or it's going to be the 2008 financial crisis. I think it's going to be far bigger than that. But you cannot have AI in its current form when people don't want it. No one asked for AI. No one particularly likes it. But of course, again, the tech bro companies have to try and inflate its importance to bring in investors. And once they realize that this is unsustainable, it's gonna blow.
I know we've spoken about AI for quite a while, so I will move the conversation on. But just before I do, I saw actually this last week there was an influencer trip that OpenAI hosted, and it was somewhere in the States to this like nature resort farm thing, and they all ate like beautiful homemade food, and they went out into nature and did these lovely like walks and hikes and stuff, and the whole like trip was about reconnecting with nature, and everyone honestly like dragged it to filth, like just couldn't believe that all these like influencers were just fully like selling themselves out. Somebody actually said that they didn't get paid for the trip, but it was a free trip because someone was basically like, you should have declared this as an ad. They were like, I don't need to because I didn't get paid. And it's like, well, that's even worse then. At least if you're going to sell your soul,
Do it for some
money.
dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
It is worse, isn't it?
But
Doing AI
everyone
propaganda for
was
nothing.
just like, okay, cool. So AI literally is killing the planet, and the weird sort of Black Mirror-ness of it, dystopia kind of vibe to it, was that they took all these influence out to this nature reserve that probably won't be there in 5 years time because it'll be a data center itself. So hopefully, I mean, there was a lot of backlash and a lot of hate for that. So I do agree, like, when you speak to a lot of the general public, a lot of people do hate it, but then at the same time, a lot of people use it for just really stupid, silly little things that...
I mean, people are going to use it when it's there, but people aren't going to miss it.
They don't really... No, well, they're not going to miss it. And I don't think people really necessarily make the connection between them generating a silly, funny little image or whatever online to the planet literally like burning and all the water.
I mean, I think the bigger backlash is going to happen when we start building data centers. They're talking about it in Leeds. Angela Rayner's greenlit some data centers in London. You're seeing that in America. Lots of grassroots revolt against these data centers, which is working. It's so amazing to see. So, if you hear any whiff of any plans of a data center in your local area, get on the grounds and push these politicians. Say no.